Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the most kind, the most merciful. Welcome back, everyone. Today we're moving on to harakat. For those of you who don't know what that word means, I would suggest you go back and find the tutorial that talks about harakat. That will give you a really good baseline understanding of what we're referring to. Some of the harakat that we're going to be coming across in this section as well are also explained briefly in that video. I believe it's called harakat. Yes, it is. If I've figured out technically how to leave the link, I'll leave it somewhere in the video, inshallah, at this stage, so you can just click on it. Right, so without further ado, I'll bring to you the Fathah. This is the like I said, the first of the harakat. It's actually the sound. So any letter that has this haraka will be given the sound. Except if it's a full mouth letter, then it will be given a o sound, the full mouth sound. Okay, what do I mean by that? I'll explain. So if you take the first letter here, Hamza. This is not alif, by the way. This is Hamza now, because there's a harakat involved. There's a harakat on top there. There's a fathah on top of it. So this becomes Hamza. So we call this Hamza. You only say alif when you just see this alif, this line by itself without any harakat. Okay? Inshallah that makes sense. But I will explain further on a little bit more, inshallah. I think if we have an example, I don't think we have one on this page, but further on the lessons, inshallah, that will become a bit more clear. So, sorry, going back, so the Fathah, there's 3 rules. These are very, very important. You need to know these, you need to memorize these, write them down. The first is to read quick. The second rule is to not stretch. And the third rule is to don't open your mouth too much. So there's one do, which is read it quick. That is sufficient, to be honest with you. But just to make sure that you are reading quick, you're not stretching it, we've added the other rule, rule number 2, don't stretch, and the third rule, don't open your mouth too much. These are all designed around reading it quick. If you open your mouth too much, you end up stretching it. That's why if you keep your mouth, like I said, don't open your mouth too much, you won't stretch it, inshallah. Now, what do I mean by not stretching it? The example here, so we start with the first letter. So the Hamza becomes a. So we read this not or a. You can't read it a. A is fine. And a, they're both fine. The reason I read it and I've got used to reading it like that now, is because when you're working with children, especially probably adults sometimes as well, but adults they'll understand the concept a bit better. But with children, because you do a lot of repetition, if you start off saying then they end up stretching it and saying and it just gets out of hand. But with this way, when you say it's difficult to stretch it, basically. Okay, that's why I read like that. Both ways are fine. Or a is fine. So moving to the next one. B, t, th, j, h, kh, d, th, ra. So it's quite relaxed, but it is quick. And you want to put your tongue, your lips, whatever's involved at the place where the makhraj is. That's why we did a whole 4 lessons dedicated to the alphabet and the makhraj, the origin of the letter. Now again, if you're not understanding what these concepts are, what these words are that I'm talking to you about, I will leave a link, inshallah, if I figured it out by then, here at some point, somewhere on the screen, where you can click and go back and go through the actual makhraj of the letters which is very important. So we've got up to here now. You'll notice I read this one kha. Reason being, it's a kha, it's a full mouth letter. So we're not going to say kha, we say kha, kha. And the ra, the letter ra becomes ra. So it's not a full mouth letter, but ra is one of those, it changes depending on the harakat that's involved. But in this case, because it's got fathah, all you need to remember is that it's going to be read full mouth, ra. Moving on, z, s, sh, sa, da, pa, va. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All full mouth letters. We'll go through those again. They can be a bit tricky sometimes. Sa, da, ta, va. And then the ayn is a, gha, fa, qa, ka, la, ma, na, ha, wa, ya. So a good way to get good at these sounds is to have somebody just maybe point out one for you and you have to say it, or go through it yourself, go through it forwards and backwards, down and up, just maybe read the full mouth letters sometimes, but the more practice you have on this, the better, before you move on and start putting the letters together to make words. Now these on this page are proper real life words, all taken from the Holy Quran. That's one of the unique features of the Safar Qaida, that none of the words are made up, if you will. Everything is taken from the Quran as far as I'm aware, which is brilliant. So you know that you're going to be coming across these words when you're reading the Quran. And this is the reason why we're here, why we're studying in the Qaida, is so that we get our tajweed correct and we're able to recite the Holy Quran. This is our goal, inshallah. So the first word is made up of alif, mim, ra. Ra. Ba, lam, ghain, balagha, balagha. Jim, mim, ain, jama'a, jama'a. Ha, sin, dal, hasad, hasad. Ra, fa, ain, rafa, rafa'a, rafa'a. Dhal, kaf, ra. Dhakara, dhakara. Now the only reason I'm reading out each letter individually is to give you an idea of the different ways that you can work through this page and the different techniques that there are to recognize the letters before you actually start saying the full word. But if you want to just read it through, it's saraqa, sadaqa, ظلم, ضرب, خسف, وزر, حكم, ظهر, مرج. Alright? And the last 3 lines. ذرأ, نظر, حضر, نبذ, فتح, عبس, رفث, فرض, فعل, أخذ, ترك, جعل, خلق, صرف, كتب. Alright, so the beauty of, I wanted to keep this less than 10 minutes, I'm nearly there. The beauty of YouTube recordings, whatever, is that you can repeat it. I don't have to keep repeating it. You can just rewind it and play it as many times as you want. Alhamdulillah. Enjoy.